Hey guys, how's it going? Sandro from AI for You. Today I'm going to show you how you can use Google Vision from within Voiceflow. I recorded the original video in German language, so don't look for lip synchronicity. I just added the English track later. So what are we going to need? We need Voiceflow, we need Voiceflow, of course we need Google Vision API, make.com, and Airtable. Just to give you a little background on why we looked at this. During the last couple of weeks, next to our running projects, we developed an AI assistant for car repair shops. And this assistant is able to basically offer services, book them into the calendar, update the repair status, maybe assist in sales and booking a test drive, and so forth. I'm sure you got the idea. A customer with whom we worked quite closely for this project gave us the idea, hey guys, it would be really great if you could read out from the vehicle registration document, which is a kind of document that has all the information about your car. I'm sure you got this in your country as well. So this client wanted us to read out 3 important numbers from the vehicle registration document. And I told him, well, look, there's already solutions on the market that can read with OCR and AI, can read such documents. And exactly this document, by the way, in Germany, we just find someone who has an API and then we tie it into the AI assistant. What about that? You just need to pay your subscription there and you get it. And he said, no, I don't want that. I just need these 3 numbers, please. So I said, okay, let's try to build something for that. And that's what I did. Let's have a look how it's set up. So what I'm sharing here on my screen is my Voiceflow setup, how I designed this test for Google Vision. It's just a test, but I'm going to share the VF file anyways. And first of all, we need to have a look at the vehicle registration document. This is actually one of mine. It's like 10 years old and it's stuffed it's crammed up in the last corner of my wallet. And so you get the idea. It's pretty hard actually for Google Vision to read that thing. If you look at it closely, you see these fine lines. These are a kind of copy protection, which make it even harder for Google Vision to read it. So to be honest, I didn't expect much when I looked at this document and thought about uploading it to Google Vision. I thought, wow, this is going to be a mess. What we need is the FIN, the Fahrzeugidentifikationsnummer. This is the car vehicle registration number. Then we need the other 2 numbers that are basically TSN and HSN. The HSN is the manufacturer key number and the TSN is the type number. So let's have a look at it. This is Voiceflow, and on the right hand side you see the test window for my AI assistant. His name is Blip, AI assistant of AI for You. Let us try out Google Vision. So we're uploading the file of this car vehicle registration document, and there we go. And now you send it to Google Vision. Let's wait for the there it is. There are the results. You can see it's a lot of data. It's okay. I think he read nearly everything. Of course, some spaces he didn't quite capture, but therefore we have our AI assistant. So Google Vision API basically recorded everything from the vehicle registration document. In parallel, I'm showing some error checking printouts, just a link to the picture and so forth. I built in a button that you need to press before proceeding. I'll explain later why I did that. For now, let's just progress and see how he works on it. There's all the data we need. So basically this has happened in Voiceflow. I have 2 or 3 GPT-4 steps that analyze the whole raw data and try to find the correct numbers within this data mess. And this worked exceptionally well. I had to play around with the prompt a little bit. I'll show that later. As you can see, it hasn't not just read out all the data correctly, but we just successfully also printed or put in the link to the picture. So in the car repair shop, if anything is wrong with the readout, they can still look at the picture and do a double check. Before we jointly look under the hood, so to speak, just 35 seconds of self-marketing. Who are we? We are AI for You. We are an AI automation startup On the market since October 2023, we focus on small and medium business, everything from automation to artificial intelligence. In detail, that means we do an AI check and process analysis for the company we work for. We develop AI assistants, of course, but we do much more. We do robotic process automation, and we do machine learning projects. We got 30 years of experience with enterprise clients. That's about it. If you want help, just contact us. First thing we need, of course, for our build is Google Vision API. And the Google Vision API, how is it activated? Let's have a look at your Google Cloud account. If you log in and you choose dashboard, you land on this page. Don't be confused, guys. I pre-recorded this video in German and then I put on the English voice track afterwards because I didn't want to use up all my 11 Labs credits. But of course some screens here, or most of the screens, are in German as well. I'll translate as good as possible. So basically you get the idea. You create a new project in your Google Cloud admin section. I just did one with this number. Then you land on this page after creating the project. It says you have no API key. Open the API library. If you do that, you end on this page. So you check for the Google Cloud Vision API. That's what we do here. And there it is. Now we add it to the project. We activate it. And once it's activated, you end up on this screen basically again, where you can look at the activated APIs and then go to authentication data, and you see the API that you just activated for Cloud Vision. On the right hand side you can basically edit the key. It will be shown then, so I just won't do this for the moment. If you end up on this screen, it will not be ticked off right away. It will be a red sign, a warning sign in front of it, because Google wants you to restrict your API key to a certain API. Of course, in this case, we will restrict it to Google Cloud Vision. Otherwise, the API key has access to many other things, which is not a good idea. So just to show you guys, I decided I will show the section anyway. I'll put a blinder on top of my API key then. So this is what it looks like. You can edit various settings about the API key. I restricted it in this part here to the single API for Cloud Vision API. And then you're basically all set up. Then you get the green tick in front of your API key and you can continue. Before we do that, I just need to mention one thing. You need to set up a billing account on top of this window. The button is not there anymore because I did it already, but there will be a blue button on top of this window and saying you need to activate a billing account. Don't get confused if you do that first time, because if you already have an account for Google Workspace with your payment details, that is not what we are looking for here. Here we are setting up a billing. We need to set up a billing account for Google Cloud for all the cloud services. And you need to do that because if you don't, you can still copy and paste your API key and create it, but it won't do anything. Basically, if you call it, it doesn't respond. So first of all, you need to set up this billing account. As I mentioned, there's a blue button, just click on it and do it. It doesn't cost you anything anyway. So after that, we go to make. We add a new scenario, and of course we start with a webhook. It's always somewhere hiding here in the middle. There it is. So we use the custom webhook, and we add one. And there we go. We give it a new name, Vision. Save it, and there it is. So there's the details of the webhook, which you can use in your Voiceflow build to call it. Basically, you just want the webhook because you want to transfer the image you uploaded to the webhook, and the webhook then hands over the image to Google Vision. So we add the next step, Google Cloud Vision, and there's lots of choices here. It's about recognizing images, faces, and buildings, and whatever you can think of. Of course, we choose the OCR option, recognizing text within an image, it says, and we don't take any of the building stuff and the other things. You can play around with that. It's actually quite good. So we choose OCR, and there we go. We have Cloud Vision connection. That's my connection, which are already linked. If you don't have one, you just enter your API key here, you give it a name, and you connect it. And then you have it set up and good to go. Once you call the webhook for a first time from Voiceflow, the webhook will have received the image variable that we have in our build. I'll show that later. So once the webhook has it, it can hand it over to Google, and then you can also put it into the Google step, like shown in this picture here. You just enter the image variable there. The other values, I activated them because I hoped it would give better recognition and presenting of the numbers it found. But to be honest, I don't think you really need it for this example. Then you put the last step in Airtable. Of course, you put in the Airtable step because we need a kind of database to store all that stuff and read it out again. So you create a record, because for this test I didn't really worry about patching or updating existing records. I just wanted to add a new line with the raw data that it reads out from the car vehicle registration document and just creates a new row. There we are in Airtable. So how do I get my API key from Airtable? You go on your blue, in this case my blue logo, my account settings, and you go to Developer Hub. That's what I do here. And there you see your keys, your personal access tokens you have, because Airtable actually deactivated the API keys a couple of months ago, a short while ago, and that's the old part where you could set up an API key. Now you use the blue button in the top right, and you get a personal access token, which you can edit for its rights. You can easily change the rights to read, write, whatever, update, patch. Once you've done that, and you can go and use that key within Airtable. If you didn't try out Airtable so far, I just can recommend do it because it's great. It's a relational database. It's not just Excel on steroids like some people mention. For me, it's much more. Basically, if you have SQL, like the Pro database, and let's say Google Sheets, and put them next to each other, you have an overlap. That's basically Airtable plus so many things I can't mention. You just try it out free and find out for yourself. It's huge. I didn't know about this until a couple of months ago, and I really love that software. And that's not just everything. I need to show you one function that is really great, because if you go on the help section, API documentation, this makes me grin or smile because it's great. You know, I've been in software quite a while and I haven't seen something like that. They have put in for your base that you have open right now. If you go on this API section that I just showed, you will see all the metadata, authentication, field values you need to call, and you basically can just copy and paste them. I mean, it's huge. You can't get it any easier than that, because if you look at it, I'm just showing it here in the video, you just copy and paste the link. Of course, the bearer key is not shown here, but the link to the base, and then you have your API call nearly set up. There's not much more to add. You need to add the sheet, of course, the sheet ID. You can address every single row of the sheet or of the table, and of course every single cell, and it shows all the commands you can use with APIs. It's freaking awesome. I really love this. Good job, Airtable. So enough of praising Airtable. Let's have a look at our assistant. We jump into Voiceflow and look at the design. This is the welcome message, hey, file upload, and now the next four boxes basically we took from Voiceflow, and that's the reason why we need this Voiceflow in the setup. The reason is the file upload it offers, and it transforms it to a nice HTTP URL in Google Storage, which is great. So I just copied these four boxes from the VG template upload you can do in Voiceflow. Connecting Voiceflow and Voiceflow is pretty easy. I'm just showing it here. You go on the API section, integration, you copy your API key from Voiceflow and you put it into your widget, so basically your AI assistant in Voiceflow. You copy your API key from Voiceflow. If you want, it's not mandatory, but I'm always doing it. You can also copy the project ID of your Voiceflow assistant. Just click on the three dots here, go to settings, scroll down until you find the project ID, copy it, and then head over to Voiceflow and insert it in project ID down there. And once you've done that, you can basically use all the nice dashboard functions, white labeling, and all the other options you have in Voiceflow with your Voiceflow AI assistant. So that's linking Voiceflow and Voiceflow. Now back to the design in Voiceflow. What did we do exactly? There's the file upload. You hit the button, upload the data. You create a URL. It creates a URL to the picture that you uploaded. It saves it to last utterance and checks for, in the next step, it checks for if it worked, if it's an HTTP address in the last utterance. If not, it basically assumes that the user wanted to abort the action. So there we have our post API step that I added, basically calling the webhook we created earlier. Sorry, there's a blinder on it too, because I don't want people to spam my webhooks, of course. And once you've done that, you just set it up, put a API post call, enter the webhook address, header and parameters you don't need. You put in the image, so basically that's the value from last utterance, which is the HTTP address to the picture. And you don't need any capture response, that's just in because I played around with it. So for our test here, I just inserted another text step, putting out the information that the table has been updated, because the webhook received the image with the API post step, then hands it over to Google Vision. It all runs below 1 second basically, and Google Vision then returns the data it has read out from the document. And in the next step, we want to read out in the green box the information that Google Vision has read out. That's why I entered a press a button step. I'll explain later. There's the data from Google Vision, nicely put into Airtable. Just to make sure people that are new to this can follow, it happens all via this webhook we created earlier. The webhook receives the data from the API post step that we have here, where we copied the webhook address. It's blinded, of course, by the pink sticker on the top right, but we just inserted an API step, copy this webhook address from make.com, which you have here, and you copy this address, put it into the API step. It's pretty easy. And then you enter the image value, which is last utterance, as it captured the image to last utterance, and name it image. And the webhook, once it received the data first time, you can insert it easily by drag and drop. Pull the image variable over there, set it into Google Vision, and just to show it again, there's the image variable being filled with all the value we have from last utterance, which is the link to the picture, the HTTP address, the URL. So once it jumped to table update, and gives us this information in the background in Make, the following happens. Google, the webhook gets the picture, hands it over to Google Vision. The Google Vision step creates a readout from the document and hands it over to Airtable. An Airtable step creates a new row within the base. In this case it's called Termine with leads. It's a dummy list I created, a base. And then you select the table you want the row to be created in. In my case this is table 2. Of course, in a real-life setting for a car repair shop you could do much more things, like finding the license plate and adding the information of the readout into that same row where the license plate and the client data is, and updating this row especially with a filter by formula function you can use in Airtable. But I don't want to confuse anyone today, so that's not as easy as just creating a new row. And for the test, to be honest, creating a new row is just fine. Then you select what kind of data you want to be added, and you have to take full text annotation text because that's where the data comes across. And that's it. You don't need to tick off these boxes here and set them on yes. It's not required. Press this refresh button if you added new columns to your table within Airtable, and the Airtable step in make will automatically update all the columns it has found. So we don't have this, so let's head back to our Voiceflow design and have a look how we can progress within the flow. So the Google Vision readout was updated to Airtable right here. There's all the data it found in the document. And now we need to get the other 3 numbers we want. We have this press a button step just to make sure it's all synced up and the field is not empty yet. And maybe in Voiceflow it is already at the green box step where it basically reads out that field with the raw data. And if there is no raw data, it will not extract the 3 numbers we are looking for, of course. So I put in a press a button step. You can do a delay or whatever you want. Just keep that in mind because it's lightning fast. But sometimes there's a little delay in updating the Airtable, like 2 or 3 seconds, not a big problem. But if the field is still empty, the get step will not return any results and the GPT-4 steps will not find any numbers because there's no data to search in. So as I said, just to make sure the data is already in the required field, I inserted the press a button step. Now let's get to the get step. The get step is an API step to read out the raw data we received from Google Vision. I'll show that in Airtable here. That's this field over there, FinRaw. And you can find all the help you need in help, API documentation. And there you have everything you need, like the ID of the base, the authentication, strings. It can't be any easier than that. So now we go, what we want is actually get the 3 numbers, right? FIN, HSN, TSN. So, and also we need to save the link to the picture in case there's something wrong with the number, so the car repair shop could look up the picture and find out himself. First of all, you put in the table ID in the API call and then the ID for the sheet, which you can take from the Airtable menu that I just showed you. And once you've done that, your API call is basically set up. Not really set up, to be honest. The bearer key needs to be inserted, so you put in authorization and then bearer, and then you put in your personal access token key that you created or copied earlier when I showed it how to do that in Airtable. You copy that over here into the Get API step, and below that you have how we capture the response. So you do capture response dot 0 for basically the first entry, and then fields. Just start the request, and then you see there's the record, there's no number in, so that's 0 basically. And then you have the field values below that, like HSN, TSN, and FIN. And of course the raw data, the FIN raw, is also there. And the record ID I just highlighted here, you need to identify in order to find the right row where you're looking for the data. So Sorry for all the blinders, guys, but I need to hide that. I can't let that open because some people will spam my API links otherwise. So we see the get step is working, and that's great. So we have the first variable, which is vision output. That's the value from fields we get back, and we want the ID saved to table ID so we can find the row later on. And the vision output variable we define here basically gives us a good solid basis to call whatever information we need, HSN or TSN. And the table ID we may use in other API steps later. So now we define an additional value or variable, the fin value variable. And this fin value is used in the next step with the GPT-4 to basically give it the list that Google Vision returned. Sorry guys, it's a German prompt here. It says basically you're an expert to retrieve numbers and strings from a given list. The list is fin value, which we defined here just a second ago. And as you can see, the fin value consists of the vision output variable and fin raw data. And this fills the fin value variable with the list. The prompt then says, you find a vehicle identification number from within this list. Here's an example for an Opel or a Vauxhall. So he has an example and knows how to look for the number, what it looks like. Then I tell him you will always find it behind an E or a number 3. Sometimes if the photo is bad, it reads the E as number 3. So I tell him you will always find it behind an E or a 3, but this E or 3 doesn't belong to the number we look for. So that's why I show him the example here with the E. And then I tell him after this 17 digits will follow within the string that belong to the vehicle identification number. Once you've found the number, you will use this without E or 3 in front of it and just put out this string. No explanations before or after, because we want to fill the variable, right? Now you see it in preview. We have all the data from Google Vision that Google Vision returned in here. We do a preview step and let it run. Let's generate from GPT, and there it is. It's the vehicle identification number. Perfect. So the prompt works. I just added some additional text display steps just to show the numbers during the response from the bot. And then we have basically the same step for the other two numbers, for the TSN and HSN, always using GPT-4 and just changing the prompt slightly to explain to him what the other numbers look like. In this case, we say the first 3 digits are basically always letters from A to Z. Sometimes in front of the string you will find the number 22. Why did we mention that? That's the readout from Google. And as you can see, it perfectly read out the TSN and HSN, but it has a 21 and 22 in front of it. How come? I mean, why is that so? I show you on this vehicle registration identification paper, which is really bad. I can't zoom in, sorry. You see, before the TSN, in front of the TSN and the HSN number, there's a 2.1 number, which denominates the cell. However, it's so small and the document is so hard to read that Google Vision read it as 21 and 22. So of course he can't identify this properly, that it's not part of the number. He just thinks it's one number, right? And that's what you see in the returned data. If you would have a coffee stain on the 2.1 or 2.2, well then it's like that. But that's why I mentioned in the prompt, it's sometimes 22 in front of it. And not always. So we told him first 3 letters are A to Z, sometimes 22 in front, be aware. And that's for the TSN number, but only sometimes. The 22 doesn't belong to the number. And by the way, you will find this string right behind another string that is only consisting of numbers. I mean, to be fair, it's really a tough take for Google Vision with this bad document. You know, the quality is bad. If the user then does a bad photo of it, it gets scrambled up even more. Of course, you could use Google Vision basically with a machine learning algorithm and extract all the different fields first and then do the OCR step, but these solutions already exist. Doesn't make sense, so I wanted to have it nice and easy, quick and dirty, you could say, a solution to extract these three numbers. And to be honest, for these three numbers and maybe some additional one or two, it would work fine, as long as you don't want to read out the whole document with every single cell correctly. Then you can use this solution, and there's always the link to the picture to do some error checking in case the repair shop finds out the number doesn't fit. But in general, you could say it's a 95% confidence solution. It works like 95% of the time. It works correctly, and I think you can work with that. And of course, we can still improve the prompts. It's pretty impressive, actually, what Google Vision is able to deliver and what GPT-4 also is able to deliver, because he has to find this number like a hide-and-seek job within this list without being clearly defined. I mean, I just give him some parameters, what is around the number and what typically the number should look like, but what it contains and what it does not contain. Once we have all the three numbers, we go to the post or patch step. I took a patch step, you don't have to, you could use a post step. And after basically putting out all these numbers from the GPT analysis, we want to write them back within a JSON, application JSON step in the post step, mapping the variables to the columns in Airtable. And that's exactly what we do down here. We map each variable we got from GPT-4 as an answer and map it back to the Airtable proper columns. This is really working great. I mean, as I mentioned before, there's sometimes a little delay when posting these numbers into the Airtable. That's why you have to be mindful how fast it progresses within the design here in Voiceflow and how fast the values are updated. So let's do a final run. Hey Blip, go fetch. We upload the bad document again. Let's see how it updates and populates all the cells. First of all, the raw data, there it is from Google Vision, thank you. And now the update from GPT comes, and there it is. All the numbers are correct. That's pretty awesome. Okay guys, thanks for joining. We used Voiceflow, Voiceflow, Vision API, Make and Airtable for this solution. And if you need help with your own AI assistant for your company, you know where to find us. Thanks for watching, stay healthy, like and subscribe. See you next time.